Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Empowerment Talk Show. We've been missing in action for a little bit, but we're happy to be back.
Hi, everyone. We're so happy to be back here. It's been a hot minute. Traveling,
Working.
personal issues.
All right, so tonight we're going to be talking about developing resilience as a person. I chose this topic because I'm learning to do that.
You're learning.
I'm learning. Everything in life is a learning process.
Of course.
So I'm learning to develop resilience. When I think of the word resilience, I think about your strength as a person.
Yes.
On how you react to situations and circumstances. And sometimes we don't react to right. I know I haven't.
We're human beings, so there are days that we're going to get it right, and then there are days that we're not going to get it right.
That's true.
And there are days that we just fall right in the middle, not sure which way to lean. Quite honestly, it's not just black or white. You know, the gray areas are always there. So I do agree with what you say that, you know, resilience has to do with your strength and with your inner strength and, you know, being able to pull yourself, you know, out of whatever issue that you have going on right now.
You know, and sometimes we tend to fall short in the gray areas, and it affects the people that are around us.
True.
In the gray areas, how would we recognize the gray areas?
Well, the gray area usually for me is, say I have a decision coming up, and you know, we can always have the extremes going, right? No, the gray area is me in the middle saying, should I do this? Should I not do this? But if I do this, how does it affect the other one? Mm-hmm. You know, if I do the other one, how does it affect this one? And I believe that's where, you know, the gray area, you get stuck in the gray area just a little bit.
And sometimes it takes you a little time to get out of that gray area. And you're like, why do I feel depressed? When really it's not depression, it's just you're caught between a rock and a hard place.
And you know what that is as a result of? I think that is as a result of not being able to make a decision and know this is my decision.
Affirmative.
And yeah, being firm on that decision. And sticking to that decision no matter what the outcome may be and no matter how it may affect, you know, the other situation or the other person or whatever. I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. And when you're trying to be resilient, you have to learn how to make that hard decision and stick to that hard decision no matter what. So if there's anybody that's going through something, I think the first thing and a lot of people go through is that they're so caught between, they say, a rock and a hard place. But you're caught in between that just because you're not able to make a concrete decision and move forward on it, no matter how it may affect the other. I know for me, most recently, like I sat down and I did some introspection. I think traveling, because I've been traveling for most of this year. So especially in the summer, I traveled a lot. But it gave me a lot of time to think about where I am and where do I want to be. I'm still not even sure exactly where I want to be. But along those lines, you know, we're talking about, you know, doing small wins and making small wins is, you know, I started asking my question, what is it that makes you happy? What is it that is going to make you feel better? And it's not even about just happiness, but you feel better overall as a person. And what I came up with is just letting my truth be known, letting how I feel be known. And to me, it's not going to matter how the person reacts or persons react, or, you know, how the situation, how relationships might change, you know, how, you know, whatever it is. But there was going to be a shift after whatever I had to say came out. Now, I didn't know how it was gonna go, but so far, I feel that once I started letting my truth out, and how is it that I am feeling deep down inside, to me, I felt way better. And I've seen where just letting that out have made other people around me, because I just started just letting off every little thing to anyone that I had to let it off to. And I see how me just making that decision and moving forward with that decision it relieves a burden off me, myself. And then some relationship got strained, some didn't, and some got better. But at the end of the day, I know there was a dynamic that was going to shift. And so far, you've gotten mixed reactions, but at least the end of the day, the burden is out. It's off
and see,
me.
that comes with growth and
Exactly.
maturity.
Exactly.
Because so many of us don't live in our truth. Like last night, shout outs to Michelle's Secret. Last night was an intimate conversation, and one of the topics that came up, the room was raw. Let me tell you, real raw. They got down to the juice of what we are talking about tonight. And one of the things that was said in the room by one of the ladies is that when you speak your truth, your authenticity begins to shine. And a lot of people don't know how to handle the truth. Even though we say the truth will set you free, but sometimes the people that's on the receptive end, they don't know how to accept that truth. So they put up that defense mechanism and say, okay, all right, Latoya is speaking her truth, but I'm not used to that part of her.
Exactly.
I'm used to the old Latoya. So the growth in change, people are afraid to accept.
And you know what, too? So most recently, that Jamaican actor Teddy Brookshot that died. His wife put up a GoFundMe page, and there is this whole controversy about her putting up a GoFundMe page to pay for his burial, and she said, for his kids. And a lot of people were distraught about it, because she's saying that this is such a well-known figure. You should have gone to friends and have them help to gather that money if in fact you do not have that money to bury him. And I saw Photo Hype had made a video. It was very disrespectful. Like, he went off on her about ruining the brand of him. And when I first heard that Photo Hype made a video, I'm like, why Photo can't chat to him? Chat too much, da 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 da. But then when I listened to him, even though he gave it very raw and outright, and I'm like, Janelle said to me, you know what? It's not the message, because what he's saying is the truth. It's the messenger. Because he delivered, Photo Hype can be very, very controversial in everything. But because he delivered the message, initially, my first initial reaction was like, him chat too much, without even hearing what the message was. Which, in fact, when I listened to the entire clip, he was talking the truth. Like, she's ruined, she basically ruining the brand, because he spoke a lot about, what tabloids is going to read is that Teddy Brookshot, he has been starring this and that movie, musician, and he had to put up a GoFundMe. They had to put up a GoFundMe page.
Well, you see, that is where truth is problem. Because a lot of us, especially, we talked about this last night, our culture as a Jamaican nation,
yes,
right? We're very prideful and egotistical, to the point where if we're hungry, we're afraid to tell Master so we're hungry. Because we feel that people are going to talk about we, excuse me for the patois, you guys.
Oh, we're Jamaicans, girl, bye.
We feel like people are going to talk about us, downgrade us. But there's a thing called truth as well as mirroring yourself. And that is why, as a nation in Jamaica, we cannot be better off. That's why we have children with ADD, PTSD in women. We have women who turn to prostitution. We have mental health in our country. Why? Because we like to sweep things under the rug and pretend as if they're not happening. But truth means that you're going to express yourself, and the way how you express yourself is up to you or you to accept me. But this is my truth. My truth is I can't afford to bury my husband. My truth is I need the money to bury him. That is her truth. So she's living in that. But on the outside, because of his popularity or who he is or who he was, people feel the need that his wife shouldn't have to do it. But do you know her truth?
True, and that comes into question. Do you know her truth? And because what came up out of that interview, like even if she really wasn't unable to pay, I think he was upset more so about her hurting the brand of him. And she's saying that
death comes, you don't have a brand. You're dead.
He was saying that this was something she should have done in private or so. But I think
you do it in private or you do it up front. It doesn't matter how you do it. It's still her truth.
True.
It's still her resiliency now. She has to develop the capability now to resist what they're saying, to repel what they're saying, and focus on the death of her husband. Now is not the time to criticize, demoralize the man or the woman. Now is the time for the nation to come together and uplift and help her get through the situation. Then we deal with the brand and all of the skepticisms.
Oh, true.
But it's not only her. This is what we do as a people. It's in church, out of church. This is what we do as a people. So in order for you to develop your mindset as a person, you got to learn to love yourself and love your truth. Accept your truth. My truth is my forehead is big and I love to chat. That's my truth. If you don't like it, what you say or feel about me is none of my business. That's my motto. But at the end of the day, I have a responsibility to my character. So I have to live up to my character. That's not your responsibility to live up my character. It's my responsibility.
You know what? And then, a part of being resilient, as you said, that is just, for me, is about, taking things into perspective and not like really making anything bother you too much. Take things as they come and let them go. If it resonates with you, you keep it, and you keep it if it's going to build you. But then if it doesn't resonate with you, then you keep it. You keep it moving. Like as harsh as this may sound, because of the approach I started taking, like if people say something to me or say something about me that I don't like, I'm not going to argue with that person. I'm not even going to try and defend myself because that is their truth. And since I've taken that approach, I said, me a John Crow. So you can say what you want to say about me, because at the end of the day, I came and saw you in. I'm not that, but it's just a if you know what we call John Crow in Jamaica, right? It's a raven. It's not even, it's a raven?
It is.
Okay. I don't know. But if they accept that they eat any.
Pardon her, she's been out of school for a long
whatever
time.
They eat every and anything, right? So I am not going to take things personal. Being resilient is knowing how to not take things personal,
adapting yourself to the process.
Yeah, it's just like someone says something about you that you don't like or not to be true. Oh, well, if that's what you say, then that's what you say. Who am I to defend how you feel about me? You didn't come to me and ask me about the situation that you hold so strong onto,
What I'm learning through the process of being a life coach is that your opinion as a person, people like to force it.
Oh, yeah.
They will say to you, Latoya, the red hair is not so becoming, and they want to force it on you for you to believe that about yourself. So they want to force their truth on you for you to accept that that's how they feel. And then what we do now is we internalize their truth and use it as an intrinsic weapon against ourselves.
So I go in the mirror and I start singing like, I wonder if I'm gonna really like fix my hair. I wonder if I should just go back black. What if I should change my natural hair? If I should perm my hair? But not perm it.
But you see, that's what happens to us. And then we start to say, okay, our boldness dies. Our truth dies, and our resiliency goes out the window. Because we start living in the shadow of what people think we should do
instead of what we know will be right for us to do. You know who I find, like, when you told me this topic, I think of who in this world I would be the most resilient person, or persons, or set of persons. I know who I came up with? Kids. I came up with kids. Like, people say it all the time, it's so cliche, kids are resilient, they'll bounce back quickly. But if you really think about it, like, kids don't hold grudges. As is when they grow up that it's a learned behavior to hold certain type of grudge, and you don't talk to this person, you don't talk to that person. But if you really think about it, like, I take Khalil as an example. Say he's playing with someone, right? And he had a situation where, you know, he was playing with another kid, and then he had this plastic sword, and he put the kid in the belly with a plastic sword, and it hurt the child, right? And the mother saw it, and she took this great offense to it. Like, she was so mad, and I'm like, but the child is over it. He's not crying. He's over it. And these two are now playing again. And you as the adult is still sticking onto it. But I'm like, the kids have passed that phase. You know, earlier what she didn't see is that her child did punch Khalil in the face. And I was like, it's okay. You guys are playing. Keep it moving. But then now, you know, her son got poked. And she's stuck on it. And I'm looking at the kids like, but they're moving on. Kids move on, but like, they don't hold grudges like that. They move forward. Because
it's the way how she value her child.
Okay, which
she value her child at a certain, you know, put him at a certain standard. He's untouchable then.
Okay.
Opposed to you as a mom, you're saying to yourself, okay, they're children and they're playing.
Right.
But she don't look at it from a mother's perspective. She just one-sided. And she not looking at it both ways. It could have been my child on the other end. And that's what we do as individuals too. We don't look at life two ways. We look at it one way. And because we look at life one way, we tend to get ourselves into all different troubles. Financially, physically, spiritually, and mentally. And that's how we break down, and that's how we develop mental illness, which seems to be one of the raging topics right around the world right now.
All around the world. I mean, we know in America here, now that are in, you know, on the East Coast now, it's becoming that time where it's getting darker sooner, and a lot of people suffer with sundown syndrome. You know, and it affects quite a few people, and people think it's not real, but it's real. So if you don't deal with your issues prior to, then, you know, it will eventually start eating you up, and then that comes out in another way.
So tonight, I'm just reaching out to every person that is watching us around the world, who are listening to us in St. Kitts, Nevis, Antigua and Guyana, and Jamaica, Africa. You're listening on the radio. I just want to say to you that if you're going through any strategy, or any stress, or any trauma, or anything in your life that is causing you to feel sad, or feel less than, or feel devalued, develop the spirit of resiliency, where you could look adversity in its face and say, it's my season, it's my turn. I will not allow that situation to throw me under the bus, or make me feel less than who I know I'm supposed to be. Like my friend that I met last night, Toya, and these are her acronyms for BOLD. She says, brilliantly overcoming life's disappointments. And so the thing about it is, we don't want to allow ourselves, we don't give ourselves permission to overcome the adversities. So what we do is we shrink back, we pull back, and we get set back. And we say, okay, I give up. But if we look resiliency, if we look at it in every area of our life to develop it, it takes strength, inner courage, inner perseverance to develop that.
And we need to, you know, develop this thing where we do a lot of self-discovery. And when we do a lot of self-discovery, it opens up so many different opportunities for us at the same time, because when you really sit to yourself and figure out what is it that you want to do, or where you want to go, then you start seeing things. You start seeing, say, oh, but I could have gone that road all along, but because I wasn't focused on it, then I wasn't seeing it, right? So now when you sit down and you do your introspection, now you're seeing that, okay, I do have a way how to get this going. I do have a way how to set my finances, right? The money is coming in, but it's going out, but how is it going out? So now when you sit down and you do a budget, then you say, oh, but this is what I've been wasting my money on. All right, time to go.
So just remember tonight, if you're watching us, to develop resiliency, you gotta have self-discovery. There's another tool. Discover you. Live in your truth. Be authentic.
Accept positive views of you.
Accept who you are. God created you to be unique in your own gifts, in your own sphere of influence. And just remember that in everything that you do, put God first.
Amen.
And everything will come for you. Because being resilient does not require you to have faint heart. It requires you to be strong. And strength comes when you literally have a made-up mind.
Yes.
That I'm strong.
No matter what is thrown at me, I am strong, I am bold, I am beautiful, and I can do it, and I can overcome it. That's all it is. That's all it is. Never stop. Never stop. Live in your truth. No one else's truth about you, but your truth. All right, people? And that is what we want you to like. Just be resilient no matter what. I know it's easier said than done for a lot of things, but for most part, if you do what you are supposed to do for you, as long as it's not like degrading anyone else, pulling down anyone else, or making anything suffer just for you to get ahead, I'll say live in your purpose, live in your truth, and do what makes you happy and feel comfortable to grow. Again, I always say this, I always have this thing on, like, ever since I started working on my current job, I have this thing, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one, but, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. It's going to pass you by. It's going to pass you by. And the other thing that I have is a quitter never win and a winner never quits. All right, people?
So don't quit on yourself. But do self-discovery. Develop strategic plans as to how you're going to get your mission carried out. And most of all, believe in yourself.
Amen.
Because after you discover yourself, you start believing your truth. And after you believe, you start living in your truth. And after you start living, the circle around you start adapting. People start adapting to your truth. Because the truth of the matter is, God called you to do something.
Yes.
And He put you in position. He's going to surround you with the right people to carry it out. Every single day, now that I'm home, half of the day, I'm like, okay, these people don't know me. They're strangers. I get inbox messages. And God is surrounding me with the people that I need. And we started out, a year ago?
Yes.
And it took a year for us to get to this point. So people see the glory, but they don't know what we've been through. People say, oh, where did you get the idea for the Entrepreneur's Prayer Breakfast? I'm like, okay, it took time. It took time. Latoya and I spent a lot of time. We invested a lot of time. And God has now brought us to the place where you guys see me more. You don't see her often. But she's behind the scenes working. Because why? We decided that we're going to run with a vision that is going to require us to be resilient. And it's a lot of pressure, but we still go.
And it's a lot of sacrifice too. Like Camille, I got Camille like, I'm gonna take Khalil home. I'm gonna give him a shower. I'm gonna give him something to eat. I'm gonna have my dad put him to bed, but I'll be there right away. And I'm back here doing the video.
So resilience, that's resiliency. being able to deal with situations quickly, expeditiously, and get to the next point, because people are depending on us to carry it out, right? And so I want to let the world know, and for those that are watching, even though you don't see Latoya in the forefront, she's behind the scenes working. So you get an opportunity, make use of it. Make use of it. Be prepared for everything that comes your way that is going to bless your life. Use discernment. When people come to you and talk to you nicely, use discernment. Discernment is understanding. Wisdom is simply to know the difference. Use discernment and ask God for wisdom. Make sense?
Makes sense.
So that way you can win in your life and win in your business. So tonight I want to just say thank you all so much for listening and hearing us. And for Central Praise Radio, thank you. We will be adding other radio stations to Empowerment Talk Show, and God is doing something new, and we're grateful and we're excited. Join us on, hey Jennifer, join us on
Guess who else is there? Hi Fidel. Hi Rampage. Hi Shani.
Join us on Saturday at 7:30 a.m. for the Entrepreneur's Prayer Breakfast. This one, every time God moves, it will be different. And God already gave us the blueprint for the movement. October 26th, we will be in Florida. And then November 9th, we will be in Bronx, New York. So keep following us. And for those party lovers that are out there, get ready. Because Christmas, you'll be able to dress up in your gown and come out and party with us. So we're going to party. Not too late, though.
Not too late.
2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock, yeah.
I have a party. Dang, 9. It's a long time. 2 o'clock, right?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. So we could party till 2 o'clock. We're going to have a good time. So, Fidel, get your soup.
Come on over to Connecticut.
Come on over. And we're going to have a great time. All right, so stay tuned for that. And then Latoya just celebrated her birthday.
Yay!
And she had a good time.
I did.
She had a great time. So happy birthday, baby girl.
Thank you.
And we're looking forward to many more years where we could look back and remember when we started. So Latoya is going to leave a scripture with you concerning resilience. So
Isaiah 41 verse 10. So it says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand."
So there you go. Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
God is with you.
He is with you.
And he will uphold you with his right hand. So have a good night. God
Bye,
bless
guys.
you. We will see you here next week. For those that are watching us in Florida, we will see you guys soon.
So yeah, and plus we're coming up to Thanksgiving.
Oh yes,
Christmas.
Wait, we're gonna have our on the 9th of November. I won't be here, but I think Latoya will be here. Our church is feeding the homeless, 300 people, right there at 3363 Main Street in Hartford. So if you would like to be a part of that, send Latoya or myself an inbox, or just post it on any one of us page, or meet us down there to help feed the homeless.
Guys, it's something beautiful. It's something to experience. Like the last time we had it and I went out, it's just like you're so touched every single time to see that, you know, again, we as Caribbean people, we have this notion that America is this bag of roses, and trust me, people, it's hard. Like my friend and I was talking today, and she said, I wish Trump would give everybody in Jamaica a visa to come to the United States just for one visit, for them to see the life that a lot of people live out here. It's like, it's no joke. There are teenagers and people.
Because we go to Jamaica.
Next topic.
Amen.
Next
topic.
So please come out
November 9th to feed the homeless.
Yes, the less fortunate.
Feed the less fortunate. Sorry.
Yes, we're feeding the less fortunate. It's an experience. It's something to experience, and we love doing it. We love ministering to people while doing it at the same time. You don't know how far or how much we've touched people's lives by doing this. It's been what?
It's a year now.
It's almost been a year now. So every time I go out, trust me, it's December. It's something.
December will be 1 year.
It's something to experience, people. So come out, help. We do take donations as well.
Oh, yes.
We do take donations as well. It can, whether it be money, whether it be salt, money, water. It doesn't matter. A box of chicken. It doesn't matter. No matter how small it is, we do accept it. Okay, people. So thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Have a wonderful week. God bless you. Bye.